called to order. Would you please call the roll?
Alderperson Juzwicki.
Present.
Alderperson Bailey.
Present.
Alderperson Kastner.
Present.
Alderperson Sarian.
Present.
Alderperson Akers.
Present.
Item B is opening prayer. We have Pastor Rogers here this evening.
Look at you beautiful people. Thank you for all you do for our city, and for keeping our city running so well. Really appreciate each and every one of you. Let's just say a quick word of prayer. Thank you, Father, for your goodness and for the generosity of each of these people that I stand before, both the public officials and the citizens from our city. Thank you for your hand of blessing on all of our lives and for leading and guiding us the way that you do. I pray for your wisdom in every decision that's made. I pray for your guidance. I pray for safety and protection for all of our firefighters, our police department, and everybody that they serve. I pray this today in the great name of Jesus. Amen. Amen. Thank each of you.
Item C is the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please join me as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moving along, item D is approval of May 6, 2025 Common Council minutes. There is a correction that I would like to read. Under item J2, the proper notice motion was appointment of council president for a one-year term, currently Bailey. Motion by Alderperson Kastner, second by Alderperson Bailey to nominate Alderperson Kastner on a roll call vote. Motion failed 2-3 with Alderpersons Juzwicki, Akers, and Sarian opposed. Those in favor were Alderpersons Kastner and Bailey. That's correct, right?
Yeah, that's the correct.
So that's corrected as that from what it is. So with that correction, entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Alderperson second. Akers, second by Alderperson Bailey. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Under item E, Mayor's Report. This is also sort of the announcements, my announcements. June 7th is the grand opening of the Turf Skateboard Park. A couple of you had a chance to get out there. It's absolutely amazing. It's my understanding that it'll be the largest skateboard park in the state of Wisconsin, probably the second largest skateboard park in the Midwest, second only to Des Moines. No other skateboard park, and as we all know, can replicate the turf and its history. I've been told that there will be people coming from all over the country to be there, including some amazing skateboarders that probably won't be there during the ribbon cutting, but may be there before that sometime.
What time is the ribbon cutting?
The ribbon cutting, I believe, I thought it was on the chart, 11:15. It's the ribbon cutting. I would ask that you all be there if you can. If you can't make it, please let me know.
It is a special day in our house. It is a 12th birthday for someone in my house.
Well,
I'll try and
so
bring
it's
them.
taken 12 years to do the skateboard park once it was unearthed in the famous archaeological expedition of when it was unearthed 12 years ago. So if your 12-year-old comes, it would be pretty cool.
Okay, I'll
All right.
twist his arm.
I'm going to be giving a wonderful speech. It'll probably last 2 or 3 hours, naming everybody that helped with this. But
Earbuds are needed, right?
Earbuds are needed. There won't be a translator. So, but I think with Google you can translate. So, no, but it would be nice if you could be there. If you could be there about 11. Parking is going to be extremely limited. Urging people to ride share and to maybe be dropped off or whatever. Have multiple people, ride sharing or whatever.
If somebody wants to ride share, they can park at my house and we can ride.
Pam, we can't hear you.
I was just saying, if somebody wants to ride share, somebody can come to my house and we can park there.
So you are going?
Yes,
I'm
I am.
confused by this conversation.
Well, the 12-year-old doesn't have a choice, so.
The 12-year-old should go. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be very well attended, from what I can tell, on some of the Save the Turf Facebook sites and some of the other. I mean, there's 1,200, 1,400 likes, and that's usually a reflection of many more people. That just going to be a lot of people there. So, but it's an absolutely wonderful facility. I'll get into it at the time, everybody that should be congratulated, but it's just been wonderful. Also this weekend, the Greater Greenfield Lions Club's car show is Saturday. Is it Saturday?
Usually.
I think it's on Saturday. It's at Kowicki Park. It's usually one of the best shows around. I think Jansen Fest is also having a smaller show that may be on Sunday. Dan Jansen Fest starts this weekend. It sounds like the weather's going to be a little brisk and chilly, but no rain. Jansen Fest is the #1 supporter of our parks. The revenue that's raised during the 3-day event helps fund many of the amenities that we have within the city. So I would urge you or ask you to please support them. The money goes to a good cause.
The rides are set up.
Hmm?
The rides are set
The
up.
rides are set up, hopefully, never mind, the mud. Any aldermanic reports we had a wonderful Arbor Day too, I should point that out.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We had a great Arbor Day. 8 trees were planted in one of our Pondview Park. We also, part of that deal was we're going to plant, or did plant 1 tree at Whitnall High School and 1 tree at Greenfield High School. We continue to be proactive in replacing all the trees that have been damaged because of the emerald ash borer. We have pruning is they pruned 950 trees already this year because they got ahead of because of the weather. It was good for that. So they're ahead of their pruning process, and we're planning now for Forestry Fest, which is going to be at Conkle Park on August 24th.
Okay, very good. Just, I guess, under Mayor's report too, I met with Roman Blinsky, who runs the Greenfield Historical Society. The ranks are getting smaller and smaller. He came and asked if we would put out the word to try to reinvigorate with the Historical Society with new blood and new leadership. It's just getting challenging as the demands of life at an older age seem to sap your time. So every year I've heard from people that, wish they could be involved in the Historical Society and don't, or for whatever reason, right? So if you hear of anybody that wants to be part of the Greenfield Historical Society, you would have the support of our staff to try to get everything in order the way it needs to be. It's really sort of, we actually have a pretty rich history, whether it's when we were a town or when we became a city. It'd be wonderful to get that moving again.
Cooper's Hawk.
I should have, I don't know if that's an announcement or Cooper's Hawk opened. Many of you went to the dinner, I think, on Saturday. It was Saturday night, right? Mm-hmm. What a wonderful facility on the inside. I mean, the atrium and the food is, I guess, wonderful. It's a great thing to have on the corner. I'm glad we waited. Not that Taco Bell and McDonald's and some of the other uses that might have been proposed weren't great uses, and they aren't. But Cooper's Hawk really shines on that corner. I wanted to welcome them to the city. I also went into my new office at the new Starbucks. That's at 84 South. Many that before COVID, I would go to the Starbucks next to Cops for an hour or two almost every day. It was kind of like my office hours. I'd run into people and I'd talk to people and I'd learn more about the city and other cities and other things probably than I ever would have just kind of sitting around in an office here. That closed recently and they moved to 84 South, but the new facility, even though it's smaller, it's really done well. So I want to welcome them to the city, and Chipotle, of course, too. There's only one more lot at 84 South, which is truly a success story for the city. I know some people can complain about the parking and they can complain about this, but as a city that's completely built out, and you were all instrumental in this, that TIF increased the value of that 40 acres from about $7 million to over or close to $200 million. So that's how you build tax base. So, but having Cooper's Hawk on the corners was great, and they were excited to be here. The CEO was here and a whole bunch of other folks. I think they had everybody that was important at Cooper's Hawk for the grand opening. Okay. What we got next? Any other aldermanic reports that we can think of?
Very briefly, for those that haven't been informed, the City of Greenfield Public Library has or is going to go fine-free as of June 1st. There have been a number of announcements. You should see something in the Journal Sentinel in the next couple of weeks. But for all mainline periodicals and books, there will no longer be fines issued on overdue materials going forward.
But you would still be,
It's, for the moment, the City of Wauwatosa and us are the only two that have gone forward with that measure for the time
That-
being.
So we get to collect all the books about a city that they,
Well, the fines in that particular case will still be issued if they're being borrowed from a separate library coming in through us. So that doesn't go away, fortunately or unfortunately for.
and if you misplace a book or
Yes.
media, you are still responsible for the cost of
This
them?
is correct. You
So-
can't just lose the property itself. You will still be fined for that.
All right, very good. Citizen commentary, Jeffrey Sponder, I think, signed up. He's at 4076 South 60th Street.
My name's Jeff Sponder. I live at 4076 South 60th Street. I have three things I want to talk about. One is a piece of good news. There was homeless in the electric company property right away. And I've been working on that for close to a month. Ended up getting a call from the social worker. I went out there several times. They met the social worker out there, and as of Sunday, all the stuff is gone. So who's ever responsible for that, I thank them for doing it. The second thing is I had stuff, the second time in the last 6 months, I had stuff stolen out of my yard. I had stuff, the first time I didn't call the police, I had graffiti, and I had, on my shed, and I had a wheelbarrow and a pile of mulch stolen. And it was back by my shed, and now I had a big, huge pile of wood stolen. We have people going down the alley that have no business being there. From the 1950s until the 1980s, the alley was a dead-end alley, and Waterford did not go through. When it went through, they insisted that they finish the alley. I proposed that we make the alley a dead end. Neither me or the house behind me, which are the only ones in Greenfield, need that alley. And I would like the city to deed the property back to the two homeowners. And I was told that Milwaukee can't have dead-end alleys, and I sent pictures to everybody of the alleys across the street on the west side of 60th, and both of them are dead-end alleys. So it's not a matter of can we do it, it's do we want to do it, and I think it would cut down on crime, because there wouldn't be people going through the alley that shouldn't go through the alley. The third thing I have, and I don't know how we can go about getting that done. I'm looking for assistance from the board and the mayor. The third thing is they put this bike trail through, and well, everybody knows how people drive nowadays, or some people drive, and I feel they need some kind of a stoplight that pedestrians or bicyclists can push by the bike trail, which is on the electric company property, to stop the flow of traffic, because you can't trust the drivers even when you think they're going to stop. And I was outside the other Sunday cutting my grass and cleaning my bird cages, and I was out pretty much the whole day. It was a very nice day, and I seen adults as well as kids almost get hit. I also think we could use calming bumps, and people think we can't have them on 16th Street between Greenfield and Lapham, and from Clybourne to Highland. That's a major road with a bus with county buses traveling it, and they have calming ramps in those blocks, several of them. And it is a residential neighborhood. It's not like it's 76th Street or 27th Street or Highway 100, you know, where it's businesses. So I think something needs to be done before somebody gets hurt or injured.
That's on 60th you're talking?
Yeah, on 60th, yeah.
And you're talking about the Power Line Trail as the bike
Right,
path.
the power line trail, yeah. I don't know how much thought was put into putting that in, you know, there's been a lot of, there's bicyclists and pedestrians and dog walkers that use it, but there's been motorized vehicles driving up and down it. I don't know any way of stopping that, because by calling the police, it says no motorized vehicles, but by calling the police, by the time they get there, I couldn't hop in my car and follow the person quick enough, and I was right there.
I can tell you within the last 3 days that someone that was driving a motorized vehicle on the Power Line Trail was caught by the police.
Oh, well, that's really amazing, because I wouldn't have been able to follow them, you know, that quickly, because you see it, and then all of a sudden, you know, they're 8 blocks away because they're on a motorized vehicle.
So just so you're aware that the police department receives numerous calls about things like that, and they've responded. I get the police reports every day.
Yeah.
Sort of, so I get to see it.
Yeah, and the speed on 60th, you can't put enough police officers on 60th to pull over everybody who speeds. You'd need 50 officers, because I would say a good 50% of all people are going 35 or more. You know, it's the only thing that slows it is the fact that when they put the street in, they made it a single lane each way, so they can only drive as fast as the slowest vehicle, which some people are very good drivers and they drive the 30 miles an hour because they lowered the speed limit. But so people can't go faster, although I have been passed on 60th by people passing in the parking lane, including school buses have passed me. So, but I sure hope we can do something about that alley, because you know, and there's no reason we need a through alley there. And most of the houses in that block, I counted how many houses there were. There are more houses that have driveways out to the street than have garages to the alley. So, and they're all Milwaukee. I don't pay taxes to Milwaukee. We should be worrying about Greenfield, not Milwaukee. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
So please let me know how we can
It's-
work on that.
Okay. Public hearings, the first one is I-1, public hearing on a special use permit for Mystic Touch, a proposed psychic services office to be located at 4535 West Forest Home, submitted by Donna Stevens. There are purple slips there. Is Donna here? Yeah. There, you don't have, you're good. You're good. Is anybody, you want to go through it? Just wanted to make sure you were here.
Just real quick, so this is a multi-tenant building, property zone C2, special use, public hearing. Hours of operation 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Parking requirements, 8 are required for the building. A total of 8 are going to be provided. I just wanted to take a moment to highlight the work that the Cidello Property Management Company has already done on the property. They've already repaired and painted the railing. They've redone all the trim on the building. They've taken out pavement, and right now in the picture it shows it as gravel. It's going to be landscaped come planting season. So already quite a bit of work has been done to enhance the site, and I just want to take a moment to acknowledge the time, money, and effort that is being put in by the new property owner. Plan Commission recommended approval on April 8th. We have received no letters of support or objection to date.
Okay. So is anyone here to speak for or against informational purposes concerning this item? Is anyone here to speak for, against, or informational purposes concerning this item? Entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
By Driswicky, second by Akers, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. I'd entertain a motion to approve the resolution for the special use permit as well as approve the site plan review as presented
Motion to,
by,
Motion to approve as presented
Kastner. Is there a second?
and commend the planning department for instigating the improvements that the person actually did. It takes a lot to get them to do it. So good work.
second.
Second by Alderperson Akers. Would you call?
Alderperson Juzwicki,
Aye.
Alderperson Bailey,
Aye.
Alderperson Kastner,
Aye.
Alderperson Sarian,
Aye.
Alderperson Akers.
Aye.
Item 2 is a public hearing on a special use permit for Kawa, I hope I'm pronouncing that properly, Coffee, proposed limited service restaurant to be located at 6141 West Layton, submitted by Jawad Ferris, doing business as that entity. Are they here tonight? There, okay.
So this is going into the tenant suite. It's 3,200 square feet. The Kawa Coffee's hours of operation are 7 a.m. to midnight. That is very similar to Camaria, which also has a very similar clientele. Parking requirements 70 for the building, only 54 are provided, but Common Council may waive that shortage. Plan Commission recommended approval on April 8th. We have received no letters of support or objection to date.
Is there anyone that would like to speak for or against informational purposes concerning this item? Anyone want to speak for, against, or informational purposes concerning this item? Entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing.
Alderperson Kastner, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Sarian. Would you please call?
Alderperson Juzwicki,
Aye.
Alderperson Bailey,
Aye.
Alderperson Kastner,
Aye.
Alderperson Sarian,
Aye.
Alderperson Akers.
Aye.
Okay, getting on to J1A, little I don't have any appointments to the,
We got to vote,
You
don't
gotta
we?
make
oh, did you vote?
No.
Approve.
Motion on A and B.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you.
I'll make a motion to approve.
By
as
Alderperson Kastner to approve the special use in the site plan, second by
Second.
Driswicky. Now would you call? Sorry about that.
Alderperson
I almost
Juzwicki,
screwed up. You almost didn't get it.
Alderperson Bailey,
Aye.
Alderperson Kastner,
Aye.
Alderperson Sarian,
Aye.
Alderperson Akers.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. You got it. Everything's good now. Okay.
Yeah, good luck. I've
Good
met
luck.
with them once before, and I wish you good luck. It's going to be a challenge. We know that, but
Okay, the Daniels Place.
Thank you.
So they are fine with the 9:30 times for the remaining days.
Okay, item J2 is Daniels Place. Rachel Daniels' agent requested an extension of the licensed premises on their combination Class B beer and liquor license entertainment license for the Bags League to include the front of the building, and it would have temporary fencing. Alcohol sales would be inside the building. The events would be located at 3000 South 108th Street on May 21st, 28th, June 4th, from 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. At the original time, they thought that the hours of operation could be extended to 10. They're fine with the hours of operation staying at 9:30. Okay? This is, I just want to make sure I got everything.
Did they do one already?
Yeah, I think we allowed them.
We allowed
We allowed them to do it to make, and if everything worked out okay, then they could extend it, but they're fine leaving it at 9:30.
Everything worked out okay.
Everything worked out okay. So that's, is that for informational, or do I have to do a motion on that one?
Need a motion.
And make a motion to,
Make a motion to approve.
by Alderperson Kastner, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Driswicky. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Under K1A, little I would seek a confirmation of the reappointment of Nikki Cherrick as the
Yes, they're continuing.
Park and Rec, Whitnall, or Greenfield School District Representative to the Park and Rec Board. Entertain a motion to confirm.
I move to confirm.
By
Second.
Alderperson Sarian, second by Alderperson Akers. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Under double little I, Quinn Burnett is confirmed to.
Yes.
I would,
Motion to approve.
to confirm Quinn Burnett for the Park and Rec Board as the Whitnall representative by Alderperson Kastner. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Sarian. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Under 3 little I, reappoint Zach Marshall to the Park and Rec Board to expire on May 31st, 2029. Entertain a motion to do that.
Motion to approve.
By Alderperson Akers, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Serian, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. A mayor appointment and that large member, I would appoint and seek confirmation of Patricia Forget for a term to expire May 31st of 2029 as well. Entertain a motion to do that.
Motion to confirm.
By Alderperson Akers.
Second.
Second by Alderperson Bailey, was it? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item K2 is a claim received from Katie Hegira.
Yes, just to report that we did receive a claim for her, and then adoption of that would be it's a two-part claim for number 3.
So I'd entertain a motion under 3 to adopt a resolution approving the settlement of the claims of Progressive Universal Insurance Company and Katie Hegira in the amount of $4,331.63 for Progressive and $1,779.90 for Hegira.
Motion to approve.
By Alderperson Akers, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Kastner, would you call?
Alderperson Juzwicki,
Aye.
Alderperson Bailey,
Aye.
Alderperson Kastner,
Aye.
Alderperson Sarian,
Aye.
Alderperson Akers.
Aye.
Item 4 is approve the applications for 2025 through 2026 for the operator licenses. I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
By Alderperson Kastner, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Druzwicki, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 5 is approve an application for a 25-26 coin-operated or automatic dry cleaning and/or washing machine license received from Zia LLC and its agent for the property at 7860 West Layton. Entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
By Alderperson Akers, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Druzwicki, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Had a really long name, and I apologize that I probably couldn't get through that one. So, item 6, approve renewal applications for the following licenses to expire June 30th, 2026. Class A fermented malt beverage, Class A liquor, cider only, combination Class B fermented malt beverage and liquor, combination Class A fermented malt beverage and liquor, pawnbroker, secondhand article dealer, and operator licenses, assuming that all licenses are subject to the City of Greenfield ordinances regarding code compliance and payment of all delinquent taxes and charges. Entertain a motion to approve those all.
Motion to approve.
Alderperson Akers, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Druzwicki, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 7 is approve architectural plans for proposed exterior modifications to Rosen Honda located at 6141 South 27th Street. South 27th Street. Entertain a motion to approve that.
I move for approval.
By Alderperson Sarian, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Akers, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 8 is adopt a resolution verifying review and authorizing, there you got it. There was some submittal of the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources 2024 Compliance Manual or Compliance Maintenance Annual Report, also known as the CMAR, which is an unfunded mandate on the city. Probably don't need to add that. Entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
By Alderperson Akers, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Druzwicki, could you call?
Alderperson Juzwicki,
Aye.
Alderperson Bailey,
Aye.
Alderperson Kastner,
If we don't approve it, does that?
You have to approve it, otherwise we don't get our permit, and no water can go down any drain
Damn,
or
that
sewer,
would suck.
storm sewer, right?
Aye.
Alderperson Sarian,
Aye.
Alderperson Akers.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item number 9 is approve a temporary easement agreement amendment with Cobalt Loomis LLC, which will allow the public access to this turf skateboard park.
Kind of important, huh?
It would be really important if you could do this.
Motion to approve.
By Alderperson
Second.
Druzwicki, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Akers. Just
Press
quickly
push.
under discussion, we're moving forward with the DOT with regard to their approval of the relocated smaller park and ride lot on this piece of property, which the Cobalt is responsible to build, which will ultimately serve as the parking lot to the turf. We're going in, as part of the agreement, the 3 parcels that are there, which were the Victory Tool site, the Tripar site, and the White House that Mark Belling swore I started on fire to save demolition costs, which isn't true. Those properties would be in turn returned to the city, free. Previously, they were paid for $2.2 million by the developer. I think it was 2.2 million. So we're going through all of those things, and we expect an agreement to come in the near future. We expect that the parking lot will likely be installed sometime after June 7th.
Before?
But this year.
Okay,
So the idea is the parking lot will go in this year. We will likely have to enter into a lease agreement for the parking lot until Cobalt clears up there's some DNR issues with regard to capping some stuff. There's nothing significantly hazardous on the site, but there's going to be that closure, and the city isn't going to take the responsibility or the liability until there is closure, but we will be able to use the parking lot and everything until then. Just wanted to provide that as an information, but, so the motion was made and seconded. Would you please call?
Alderperson Jizwicki,
Aye.
Alderperson Bailey,
Aye.
Alderperson Kastner.
Aye.
Alderperson Zarian.
Aye.
Alderperson Akers.
Aye.
Item 10 is adopt a resolution to approve a temporary limited easement exhibit and relocation order for project ID 2395-07-01 West Howard Avenue Bridge over Minor Creek pending approval of the project design study report. Entertain a motion to approve that.
Motion to approve.
By Alderperson Kastner. Is there a second?
Second.
Where is Minor Creek?
That's down by 28th, 29th and Howard. And I understand that we're getting a state grant for that?
Yeah, we're getting a state grant to replace that bridge.
Which is a good thing because it's probably a pretty expensive bridge.
Yes, yes, they all are.
Motion was made and seconded. Would you please call?
Alderperson Jizwicki,
Aye.
Alderperson Bailey,
Aye.
Alderperson Kastner,
Aye.
Alderperson Zarian,
Aye.
Alderperson Akers.
Aye.
Just one quick comment on that. So you hear in the news that there's a lot of federal aid being cut and the states are complaining about it. So all that aid that kind of gets cut, it gets filtered from the Federal Department of Transportation, gets filtered to the states that award that to various municipalities. And many of the projects that we do in the city are reliant on that federal funding that gets filtered through the state. This is likely one of those filters and pass-throughs. So when you see on the news that, well, it's not going to impact us a lot, at some of the stuff on our level, right, is deeply impacted. Most of the roads, like 60th Street that Mr. Sponder was talking about, I think was the result of that. 43rd Street, which is in Greenfield between Cold Spring and Howard this year that's getting redone, is that. I mean, all of these things, the bridge overpasses that you see on
All the bike trails.
all the bike trails, the power line trail, those are all the kinds of things that have an impact that will potentially someday hit us. And it never happens immediately. I mean, all of this stuff takes 2, 3, 4, 5 years, sometimes a decade to filter through. So what that sort of means is that if that stuff starts getting cut now, in 2, 3, 4 years, our common council meetings will likely be shorter. I just want you to know that these aren't going to be as long because there won't be as much stuff to approve because there won't be the money to do things like Minor Creek, which is next to the cemetery.
Just don't ask for diversion.
Huh?
Inclusion stuff.
Well, so that, and I don't want to get political about diversity and inclusion and all that stuff because I like to treat everybody the same and I don't care what color you are or what you do. I don't care. As long as you're nice and you respect me and all that stuff, that's all I care about. But it seems to me that some of the things if it has the word bike or walking or something in it, then it's somehow, this is just me, okay?
That's just your opinion. That
Well,
isn't a
but
fact.
I watch all the legislation and I see that it's being kind of cut. That's all I'm saying. And so the power line trail and the money that it flows, we have another power line trail phase 4, 3, which is the one that goes from Layton Avenue on the old interurban line to roughly the Hales Corners border. that could be placed, I don't know if that's in, if they have that money yet, or it's in jeopardy, but if we had waited 2 or 3 years, likely that a lot of that those trail dollars and bike dollars and people that like to, whatever, is being cut. I'd also point out the community block grant program, which is a lot of billions of dollars, is also in the current bill to be cut. So a lot of the things that we have at Conkle Park and a lot of things that we use with community block grant dollars, including funding our senior person up there, or partially our senior person up there, will likely disappear if those things pass. So while we can talk about, how we should treat each other and how we should call each other and all that stuff, there are some real impacts at the local level that will be impacted. And it's not a political statement, it's a reality. It's money. And if there's not as much money, then not as much gets done. So, but fortunately we have the bridge over Minor Creek, which would be very expensive, paid for. Okay, motion, we approve that one. Sorry for rambling on about that. Item 10, adopt a resolution to approve a temporary limited easement exhibit and relocation order for project. I already did that one. Sorry, 11, discussion decision to approve a contract revision with Vector Solutions to include the addition of Vector scheduling, and entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Akers, second by Drzewiecki. Quickly under discussion, so we have Mr. Sponder earlier under citizen commentary, and I usually I'm not supposed to talk during citizen commentary, I'm just supposed to let you talk. You talked about the homeless person that was in the Webco right away, that was partially on somebody's yard, and I don't know who in the city took care of that. So the person sitting right there is our Assistant Fire Chief, Jan Weber, who has supervisory powers, I guess, over Maggie, who's our lone case manager, social worker. He's the guy, and Maggie's the guy working in concert with our police department. They're the ones that took care of the problem. So the motion was made and seconded. Would you please call?
Alderperson Drzewiecki.
Aye.
Alderperson Bailey.
Aye.
Alderperson Kastner.
Aye.
Alderperson Sarian.
Aye.
Alderperson Akers.
Aye.
Item 12 is discussion decision to enter into non-disclosure agreement with Catalyst Tax and CAMA, Inc. in response to Wisconsin Act 235. This is kind of a housekeeping issue. So judges are protected from disclosure because across the country there have been some judges that have been placed in harm's way because people wanted to shoot them or kill them or locate them or do something. So there was a law that was created that basically kind of protects identifying information with regard to judges, so those things are harder to do. This just allows our tax people to know, which is important. So entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
By Akers, their second.
Second.
Second by Alderperson Sarian. Would you call?
Alderperson Drzewiecki.
Aye.
Alderperson Bailey.
Aye.
Alderperson Kastner.
Aye.
Alderperson Sarian.
Aye.
Alderperson Akers.
Aye.
Items 13, 14, and 15 can be taken together. Those are the schedules of disbursements, mileage reimbursements, and accepting investments and reinvestments. I'd entertain a motion to approve 13, 14, and 15
I move for
by
approval.
Alderperson Sarian, the chair of the Finance Committee. Is there a second?
Second. Go ahead.
Can I put by Alderperson Drzewiecki? Would you please call?
Alderperson Drzewiecki.
Aye.
Alderperson Bailey.
Aye.
Alderperson Kastner.
Aye.
Alderperson Sarian.
Aye.
Alderperson Akers.
Aye.
Okay, the last real item on the agenda is there a Forrest Sage Timms here? Did you run here, Forrest? No. Yeah. Does everybody say that? Everybody does. I'm sorry, I had to.
I don't know anybody named Jenny either, so.
Yeah. Jenny, I
Oh, it
just,
took me a
it's
while
one of
to
my
figure that
favorite
one out.
movies, so. See, you ever see Forrest Gump? Yeah, it's like, run for it. I'm sorry. I apologize. So the Common Council go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 1985, parent 1, parent little b, and parent little f, considering licensure, social or personal history or medical information for purposes of issuing a 2025-2026 operator license to the following Forrest Sage Timms.
Motion to go into this closed session.
Motion by Alderperson Aker to go into closed session. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Driswicky. Would you please call?
Alderperson Juzwicki.
Aye.
Alderperson Bailey.
Aye.
Alderperson Kastner.
Actually, I want to hear from the young girl first.
Oh, did you need to say something?
This is my son Orion. He's working on 2 merit badges for Boy Scouts,
R- r-
citizenship in the community and communication.
Uh-huh.
He does have one question he asked.
Can you come
So
to the
before we
mic?
go into close, I would ask that the motion be removed and the second be removed, and that we go back to citizen commentary and provide, you got to go up there, dude. All
So
right.
moved.
So you removed that stuff. So sorry, we're going to wait just a second. We're returning back to item H, citizen commentary, and we have a very special guest before us today. Just give me 1 second while I turn on the mic, okay?
It's still, should
It's
be
on,
still
okay. If you pull it down too, that'll help.
So for my merit badge, I have to ask a question or two. How do you help the community get in your role?
I didn't hear.
I must ask, how do you help the community get in your role? No. Oh, sorry.
How do you help the community in your role, and how can you get involved?
How can you get involved? So how do we,
How do we help the community? Or how do you, oh, okay.
so I'll answer honestly. Most of these people don't really help the community much. I do everything.
He's just joking.
I'm kidding, no. So the way that we help the community is, if you all want to answer, you can. But these 5 folks are kind of like the Congress or the legislature. They're the ones that create the policy of the city. They're the ones that provide the direction that they want the city to go. I'm sort of like the mayor, or the mayor's like the governor or the president. You know, we're a smaller body, and in villages, they're called presidents. In cities, they're called mayors. I follow that direction. I have a goal as mayor to make the city a better place, and the folks that sit next to me share that same goal. Politically, you know, sometimes we spar and we make fun of each other and we do all sorts of things, don't we, Carl?
Yeah, we do.
And Andrew, and Bruce, and Pam. Shirley doesn't mess around with that stuff. She's, you know, she was a teacher, so she's always looking for.
She keeps us
But the
alive.
reality is that in order to make this city a better place, we kind of put aside our differences and we agree on things that will make the city a better place, and we can all do that despite our political persuasions. So it's not easy being a mayor. I mean, like, I'm in the paper now, right? Other people are sometimes in the paper, although these folks haven't been in the paper for a long time. None of these have ever really been in the paper, right? Some have, right? You just have to want to make I grew up here. Were you born and raised in Greenfield, or?
Yeah.
So was I, right? On 45th and Grange, and I went to Elmdale, and I went to the middle school, and I went to the high school, and I went away to college, and then I went away to law school, and then I came back to be closer to my parents. And I found, even though I lived in some really cool places, right, that there's kind of like no place like home. So when you come back and you have a heartfelt feeling, right, about this is my home and I want it to be better and I want to work at it, and you have an interest in it and you're passionate about it, that's kind of how you make the city a better place. The reality is I don't do anything, and the truth of the matter is these folks don't do they do a lot of things, but we don't do anything. None of them plow the streets. None of them arrest criminals. None of them respond to Mr. Sponder when there's something going on in the field, right? None of them put on park events. None of them build skateboard parks. None of them save people that are having heart attacks. None of them shoot anybody with Narcan if they overdosed. None of them do that. None of them do elections. Our city clerk does the elections flawlessly, I think.
Calling us cheerleaders?
No, but what you do is you realize that all those things are important. You make sure that we put together a budget, or I sort of help with that, but you make sure that we pass and adopt a budget without arguing over whether the toilet, you could save 42 cents on some toilet paper, which is what happened 25 years ago, by the way. We would find a little savings and when we'd figure out, well, can we just save money on toilet paper? Believe it or not, we stayed until 2 in the morning when I was an alderperson doing that kind of stuff. So they hire good people. They keep an eye on stuff. They keep an eye on me. They pass good budgets. They care about the city. They have vested interests in the city. They've all lived here for quite some time, except for Andrew. He's kind of a newcomer, but it's like he's lived here for a long time.
10
You came
years.
from Cudahy, didn't you?
No, from
You said-
Milwaukee, but 10 years is 10 years, I think.
10 years? Okay, so.
Yeah, I just
But,
want to
so
say,
is that a good answer?
Yeah. I would
'Cause
say-
I just winged it.
Somebody else that wants to talk.
Okay, sir, go ahead.
no, I just want to say, that what Mike says is true. We're all here for the betterment of the city. Part of that, though, is that the city is broken down into 5 aldermanic districts, and I'm responsible for my district. So if somebody has a problem or wants something, a parking problem, or say there's a pothole on the street, they would call me, and then I would try to take care of that through calling the superintendent or whatever. So my focus is responding to my constituents. That would be one of my focus. And then if I can't answer the problem or deal with the problem, then I go to Mike, and he's, he can throw his weight around, and maybe we can come to a solution on whatever one of my constituents wants. So it's just a part of the city. I'm 1/5 of the city, my district, so.
I think it's fair to say they all keep an very close eye on their districts. They are very protective of their districts. They all want to make sure that the streets and roads and sewers and stuff in their districts are taken care of. They want to make sure that the police are in their districts. But there's a spirit of cooperation among all of them, that the city never suffers in one place or another because one is more powerful than the other, or one is taken advantage, or
Not like the Hunger Games?
yeah, it's not like the Hunger Games where you're in that city or this city.
I have a question for you. What is the one thing that you want us to do that makes the city better?
Do you skateboard?
Not me personally, but I do have a few friends who do.
Yeah, you should learn, because you're going to have the coolest skateboard park in the world right here. No, you don't have to, though. If you got hurt, you could probably come after me.
Yeah,
So
go
don't,
after you,
maybe
yeah.
if you don't want to. Sorry.
Well, I'm glad to see that the roads specifically are getting fixed recently. My street was torn up because of there was like dips in the road and stuff. So I'm really glad to see that fixed up, and having the power line trail, which was spoken of earlier, added nearby, where me and family members can go for walks and get exercise a lot easier than having to like bike in roads and stuff. So I'm glad to see that kind of stuff happen.
Have you been to Conkle Park since we've redone some stuff over there?
I
And
don't
the
believe.
Where the amphitheater and farmers market are, did you ever go over there?
Behind it? Where
yeah.
we have new trails, we have a pond back there now, and a lot of native plants.
You ever think about running for mayor someday?
No.
Well, you should, because I never thought I'd run for mayor either. But,
She'd rather be an alderman, I think.
yeah, because then I can just complain about stuff and not have to do anything.
Mayor, right?
You didn't say that, Bruce.
I'm teasing. No, but no, I'll be honest, it's a lot easier being an alderperson, and, when you want to gripe, right?
I think the money is compensated differently.
That's probably true. No, I don't mind it. I actually love being mayor. This is the coolest job ever, honestly. There are some days that it really kind of blows, I'll be honest with you. But for the most part, when you have competent people like Jennifer and all the other people that we have, it makes our lives much easier. But it's all about people. It's all about making sure you have really good people that really care. The people that design Conkle Park, right, and the people that design the Veterans Memorial, and the people that do those are the same people that plow your streets. So in the other communities, they hire people, it's like, hey, we need somebody to hire, that can drive a truck. In our community, we hire people that have multiple skills, and we'd rather utilize those skills because it saves us money as opposed to hiring somebody, But it also gives them a better feeling of accomplishment within the community. Most people would rather build a skateboard park or the landscaping around it or design a veterans memorial than they would, dig a ditch or replace a catch basin. They still do those things too, so, does that make sense? You should consider being mayor someday, or maybe alderperson. You could sit up here and, really, I'm not joking, you should do it. Forrest, you should do it too. If you don't, you can run for it. Sorry, that was a pun. I'm sorry for the pun, Forrest. Anything else?
I don't believe so. Thank you.
Do you need us to sign anything?
I don't think so.
So the meeting is actually recorded and it's on YouTube, so you can watch it over and over again.
Send it to your friends.
With the millions of other people that watch this every night, or 13. Okay? All right.
Thank you very much for your
Yeah,
time.
you're welcome. Is that good? Okay, so I'd ask again for the motion that I previously read,
I'll make a motion.
to go into closed session by Alderperson Akers for the reasons previously recited. Second by Alderperson Driswicky. Would you please call?
Alderperson Jizwicki.
Aye.
Alderperson Bailey.
Aye.
Alderperson Kastner.
Aye.
Alderperson Sarian.
Aye.
Alderperson Akers.
Aye.
Okay, we are now in closed session. We're going to turn off the camera. You have to leave because you can't be in closed session. Only they can be in